Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by Big League Chew. This is episode 276. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin, and I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
Ooh, I like that pause. I like that. Get me hyped.
Build it up a little bit.
Let the crowd get hyped up a little bit.
Get hyped up a little bit. Happy Bryce Harper MLB debut anniversary day to those who observe. It's been 10 years.
Oh, man. The fandom, the fanboy is just getting out of control.
It's not fandom. It's just...
If Bryce Harper was a Red Sox, you would just be on cloud nine daily.
This podcast would likely not exist. And instead, it would just be a solo podcast of me talking about Bryce Harper's career from every possible angle.
Yep, 100%.
But for now, we'll just have to settle with the Phillies. It's fine.
I'm genuinely thinking that you'll never play another fantasy baseball league/year ever again without having him on your team.
I mean, if I don't
have him, you're trading for him.
If I had, which is what I did this year, if I have the option to have Bryce Harper on my team, why would I not take that option?
Well, I just don't understand why these people continue to trade with you without understanding that they hold all the leverage if they have Bryce Harper. All the leverage. They could ask for whatever they want. And they continue to just... What did you trade for to get him this year?
I have standards, man. I mean, come on.
I don't know.
I'm not a fantasy skank here. Let's see here. Who did I trade him for? It was somewhat of a tall ask.
It wasn't a 1-for-1, was it?
Traded. I don't think so. Oh, hold on. Almost there.
3-for-1.
No. Or no, maybe I did draft him in this league. I traded for my guy Xander Bogaerts. That's what I did.
It was the other league that you traded for.
Yeah.
It was the OG league that you traded for?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Shout out to the OGs. Eventually, we're just going to be in like 5 or 6 different leagues year by year. In case you didn't know.
I did trade. I did trade. I traded Max Fried and Luis Robert for Bryce Harper and Alex Wood.
That was a lot.
I mean, Bryce Harper and Alex Wood. I'm getting the reigning MVP and soon to be 2022 MVP and a reliable arm. So there you have it. Trying to talk down on my trading abilities. Speaking of National League.
I was going to let everybody know the fantasy update, but it's cool.
No, go ahead.
It's cool. It's cool. No, it wasn't really an update. I was just saying, for those who didn't know, like we're going to do it every year. We're going to switch up the group for fantasy every year. And then last year, the crew wanted to stay together and create a new league. So I think that's what we're doing. We're just going to eventually dominate fantasy baseball like worldwide with teams being created off of, or leagues being created off of our initial league. That's
you and I are going to have our hands in about 50 leagues at once.
Falls under that umbrella. Yeah.
It's going to be glorious.
No, I'm not doing it. 2 is the max. I'm not doing more than 2.
2 is max.
I wasted my whole morning on trade talk. Got what I needed, though.
And what did you have to show for it?
A solid trade.
A couple names.
A fan.
A couple names on an app. What did you actually do with your morning today, Nate?
I won the day.
You won the day.
I won the day
in the league where we're not even playing for anything, and that's not even our current
Bragging rights.
Podcast Fantasy League.
I know. I did a little plug here for Colin. We did a 1-for-1 trade because I knew I was going to have to replace Max Fried if I traded him Max Fried. So I got Nicky Castellanos from him, but I went and got Corbin Burns. Shout out Murray for that. But to talk Colin into it, he's coming out here in a couple weeks for his fiance's wedding dress shopping, and we're going to golf. And I told him I would buy him a sleeve of Pro V1s to just...
Well, I wish you would have told me that, because now I'm going to present that to the group and just watch all hell break loose.
Just
on
a little
bribe talk.
A little behind the scenes bribe talk.
Unbelievable. But as I was saying, speaking of National League phenoms, right off the top here, Ronald Acuna is back for the first time in 292 days. What Braves fans and number of baseball fans would say is the best player in baseball. Probably not the case, but I respect the adoration. He is returning to the big league diamond after a little rehab stint with Gwinnett.
I'm getting
the fuzzies, dude. I'm getting the warm and fuzzies.
I'm hyped because like the Braves are like kind of scuffling a little bit out the gate. I wouldn't say like they're really struggling, but they're not.
Braves fans have told me that they're just waiting for the league to get a head start, and then they're gonna take off. I'm like, all right, whatever helps you sleep at night.
Oh no, I don't know if you want to give the Mets too much of a head start, but yeah, I would say this is perfect timing. Braves need it. Their outfield has been really struggling. Duvall has not been hitting. Eddie Rosario just went down. I think he's having like eye surgery or something.
Literally could not see the ball.
Yeah, so he's out for a hot minute. This is super necessary. They definitely needed this. And like,
which, by the way, not to interrupt, did you have any eye issues in baseball growing up?
No.
Because you don't wear glasses,
I don't wear anything.
right?
Yeah, no glasses,
no
or contacts.
Dude,
nothing.
I'm telling you.
I got the little floaties.
Yeah, those suck.
Is what it is. I don't care about that.
There's nothing worse than trying to play baseball and you can't see. Dude, I was in middle school. We had like a night practice one night.
Yeah.
It was for some travel team. And it was that night. I could take
Was it our travel team?
No. But I could take you to the field it happened at. It's ingrained in my mind. The night that it happened, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I have to go to the eye doctor. I told my mom, I was like, I got to get contacts. I got to get glasses or something.
You didn't have them until then?
Rec specs. Give me something because I can't see anything. No, I didn't have them until then. I didn't get them till probably like 8th grade.
You were such a stud in Little League, too. That's crazy that you couldn't even see.
No,
you were
I mean,
also like
no, I could see fine.
basically shaving in 6th grade, I feel like.
Well, that's not true.
You were like already 6 foot.
No, the eye issues didn't develop till about middle school, but it developed quick, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. And then I got my contacts and still couldn't hit the baseball. So clearly I'm just not good at baseball. That's the conclusion.
Yeah. Well, back to someone who is. Acuna, this is needed, dude. This is good for baseball.
That was unnecessary. That was a deep cut.
Little jab. Yeah, this is just, it's good for baseball. Like, we need this star back. Like, he's a walking highlight reel every time he steps onto the field. He does everything, I won't say in a flashy way, but like a fun way. You know, he swipes bags, he plays solid defense, and he hits nukes. Like, what else can you ask for? But as far as the Braves go, I feel like they were kind of missing that leader. That's how I feel about the Braves right now. And like missing Freddie Freeman is happening right now. Up until this point, Freddie Freeman has been missed for that leadership type of consistent production that you know is going to be there no matter what kind of thing.
And Matt Olson can do what he does, but you can't ask him. Yeah, you can't ask him to take over that clubhouse as somebody that's been there for a minute. Literally.
Yeah. I think there's a combination of like, if you're that guy, it's a sprinkle of spark, it's a sprinkle of leadership, It's a sprinkle of like, I'm a perennial all-star and an MVP. Matt Olson is capable of that stuff, but he's brand new. Austin Riley's just like still, kind of feeling his way out in some ways, like still kind of trying to earn the respect. Same with Ozzie Albies, I feel like. Dansby Swanson has just been miserable so far offensively. So, like, who's that guy for us, right? Where's that guy coming back from? Marcell Ozuna has been hitting well, but, like, he's trying to stay under the radar from all of the off-the-field stuff. So, like, who's our guy that is just here to let everyone know that we are the Atlanta Braves, we are world champions, and Acuna is that guy. He's going to come back, and they're going to start taking off. They'll be fine. And as much as I wish that a starting pitcher could take that role, there's a very select few of starting pitchers in the league that can be that guy.
It's just
the Braves don't have that.
Yeah,
Max Fried is a stud, but he's not a Scherzer where you control the clubhouse. You control the mentality. They don't really have that. Acuna brings that back. Let's bring fun. Let's bring swagger. And let's bring let's just bludgeon teams moving forward. That's what he's going to bring.
Speaking of which, did you see that Max Fried video that that just resurfaced recently of him during the World Series last year, Game 6?
No.
So when Soler hit that home run that just silenced Minute Maid,
yeah,
apparently nobody really paid attention to it rightfully so. Nobody's paying attention to Max Fried at that moment. But Max Fried, who had the ball that game, was locked in, did not move a muscle. He stayed on the bench. Everybody's just losing it. He's looking dead ahead, just locked in. And all these people, I don't know who made the discovery. They put like a little video special at it on, I think, one of the Braves accounts or the broadcast accounts. But they were like, why did we never see this before? And then it just started blowing up on Braves Twitter. And I watched it, and I was like, I would have never noticed that, but that's incredible. And that speaks a lot to what Max Fried is capable of. But to your point,
what I said, it's not a knock on him.
Yeah,
it's not a knock. I think there's probably tons and tons of starting pitchers there that are like, don't talk to me, don't bug me on my day. Like, it's my day, I'm locked in on my own thing. Totally normal. I think that's cool to see, cool to hear about. But it's again, there's not that clubhouse shift. You know what I mean? Where, when Freddie was there last year, it was like this, like, all right, well, like, let's do this thing because Freddie's been here the longest. We don't want to disappoint him, right? Like, he's our leader. He's our guy. He's our calm guy. Like, he keeps us at this level no matter what. And then you sprinkle in some fun guys. That they're missing that part right now. So Acuna coming back is going to bring, some fun back to them, I think.
Well, that's the thing is like he's going to be the guy. There's absolutely no question about that. But it's a little kind of like what you're saying. It's a little bit of an unorthodox the guy style, if you will, because he's not that play by the rules kind of guy.
He really isn't, yeah.
I mean, you heard about the bucking of heads sometimes between him and Freddie, and Freddie is more a by the book guy.
Yeah.
Acuna's just not, and he's made that very clear, and he's okay with that. So it'll be interesting to see how the Braves respond to that kind of leadership now that there is no Freddie Freeman.
100%. Well said. And that's got to be something they got to transition to something new. It's a new, different kind of way about things. It's no longer like the classy, like straight cut Chipper Jones, Freddie Free Brave way. This is a new way. So you're right. Like, this is something that it's either going to go really well or really bad.
I was going to say, to be fair, if there was a team that would be able to respond to something like that in a positive way and be able to really gain some momentum from that moving forward, it would be the Braves.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see how this evolves. Like, I think they need to go more of like, hate us. I want you guys to hate us. I want other fans, I want opposing teams to hate us. We want that edge. that's what I'm curious to see if the Braves can turn that corner and start going with that mentality.
Yeah, they're without a doubt they're going to heat up. And this we'll get into it. This Cardinals Mets thing is one thing, but I'm telling you, the Braves and the Mets,
that's a team that everyone hates.
Right.
They hate them. People hate Mets right now.
The Braves and Mets is going to make for very entertaining baseball come summertime.
Kind of like, I think that's going to be like the Dodgers Padres.
Yep.
Kind of not necessarily rivalry, but kind of rivalry where, fighting for the division, fighting for
going to be a little
that,
extra juice in those games.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Ooh, getting the tingles.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Mets and Cardinals, let's transition to this beef that apparently has been going on. So coming into Wednesday, the Mets had been hit in MLB leading 18 times. I feel like it's unfortunate that this has to boil over against the Cardinals, because I think you and I can agree that watching the way things played out with those hit by pitches or near hit by pitches, that it just, I don't know if it really warranted all this. But if you're I don't know. If you're the Mets, I could understand why frustrations would boil over, and I understand if you're the Cardinals, you're kind of like taken aback, like what's this all about? Like, have a little more self-control. But if you're I don't know. I just don't see the reasoning for taking it out against the Cardinals.
Do you remember what the response of the Nolan pitch was? Do you remember who got hit before that? Because it was late in the game, and it was like a 4 or 5 run ball game at that point.
Yeah,
like the Cardinals were handing it to him. Like,
yeah, J.D. Davis had been hit with a pitch in the
that ankle, that fastball
ankle, and he had to leave the game. But then it was the next inning is when Arenado got buzzed up and in, which, look, we need to set the record straight here, because there's a lot of hot takes flying around this whole deal. And I know that's what we're here for. We're here for the hot takes, but in certain situations we need to be a little more rational, a little more level-headed. For the side of people that are saying, "Oh, that ball was nowhere near him," when you get buzzed up and in, it's scientifically proven, because if you know anything about the way pitching works, there's perceived velocity, and then you have actual velocity. When you get buzzed up and in, that ball looks like it's coming in 4 to 8 miles an hour quicker than it actually is.
Correct.
So I can understand the response of Nolan thinking that he's getting buzzed and he's not exactly getting thrown inside as they may have argued that they were. At the same time, on the flip side, I don't know. I just feel like both sides overreacted here.
I do agree. I actually really agree with you.
If you're Nolan, you can't be just losing it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I understand why he reacted to that specific pitch, but the way that he handled it, I just feel like may have been a little much.
Yeah. I think, well, here's the thing. So my two initial reactions to this. One, Nolan is a head down kind of hitter. Like, as he's swinging, you can watch this on any replays. Like, he's eye on contact kind of guy, i.e. like a Derek Jeter, where you saw him and he would call it like a dive, like he dove into pitches, right? Nolan doesn't necessarily dive, but he is like a head down, where he wants to see contact and finish his swing long before he looks up for the ball. He actually works on that. So yes, it's not that close in some ways, but at the same time, like you said, added velocity when it's up in the zone and close to your noggin. But his specific mechanics bring his head down as he's going through the process of a swing. So it's going to feel closer for him. But my second thought on this was he wasn't, if you watch him talking back, he wasn't saying, let's fight. He wasn't saying, I'm walking out to the mound. He was saying, like, bring that fastball again and put it in the zone, and I'll show you what's going to happen with it. That's what he was doing, saying, bring that again, but put it in the zone. And then the catcher got in his face, and he just literally ragdolled.
Manhandled him.
Like, move. Like Aaron Donald moving an offensive lineman out of the way for a sack. Let me just rip you out of my way. And then once that happened, it was just, obviously, benches clearing at that point. But, like, what? Are you over the benches clearing?
Yeah,
Are
that's
you
another
over it?
thing.
I'm done with it. I need fists being thrown. I need suspensions. Otherwise, don't do anything.
Well, that brings up another point. We've got Pete Alonso out here. Just are you coming around on my thoughts on Pete Alonso now, dude?
I am.
Pete Alonso is one of the biggest clowns in the game. Like, I'm sorry, but he's one of the.
It's like a forced.
It's like this forced New York tough guy. It's like, you're not, though.
Yeah.
Pete, you're not.
I get that. I see what you're saying.
And he gets out there after the ordeal, and they're interviewing him after the game. He said, if I wanted to put someone in the hospital, I easily could, but I was just out there trying to protect my guys. How are you going to do that when your back is on the ground after getting manhandled by one of the bench coaches for the Cardinals?
By a coach.
By coach.
Twice your age. Oh, that's not a good look.
It's not a good look. And then he went straight to the whole, well, he got me from behind. It's like, I don't think this bench coach was analyzing the situation to say, how can I best assert my dominance over Pete Alonso right here?
Yeah.
Like, he sees a guy in the scuffle, grabs him, and manhandles him to the ground. So, like, I don't think too much fault can be placed on this coach. I don't know.
I'm giving props to the coach. I don't think there's any fault there. Like,
no,
you're gonna take on the biggest dude in their roster. Like, yeah, good for you. Yeah, keep going with the quote though.
Pete Alonso was born in Tampa, Florida, dude. You're not straight out of Queens. Can we cut the nonsense, please? That's not a quote. That was just me doing a little research. All right, so here's the quote. He said, getting domed up isn't fun. It's honestly not safe. It's dangerous, and there's consequences whether it's on purpose or not.
And he did wear one off the noggin this series.
We're going to stand up for ourselves. And then he says, I got pulled from behind. They're asking about getting tackled by Clapp. He said, I got pulled from behind. Actually, Genesis Cabrera grabbed me by the back of the collar, and he just ripped down, and the coach just kind of jumped on me. I felt that was kind of cheap coming from behind. If you want to pull me back, if you want to restrain me, go at me like a man. Again, do you want this coach to, like, circle you and, like, square up with you as both entire like benches and bullpens collectively like are in a scrum? Like, this isn't a UFC fight where you're tapping glove, or this isn't a boxing match where you're tapping gloves before. Like, it's not it. So I don't know what exactly Pete was hoping for here. And then
he had more to say. Yeah, finish the rest of it because it gets worse.
Well, I just had the hospital line. What else did he say?
Yeah, that one.
I said that.
No, you didn't say that.
Yeah, I did. It was like one of the first things I said when we transitioned to Pete Alonso. He says, if I wanted to put someone in the hospital, I easily could, but I was just out there trying to protect my guys. And then I said, how are you going to do that when you're on your back to the ground? What a clown, dude.
It's just, it's weird. Pete Alonso's just a little funky for me, dude. Like, he's just a little weird. Even when he got hit in the head, he, like, awkwardly ran to first base, like, really fast. And then, like, talked, like, kind of chirped from first base. But he did it without his helmet.
Yeah, I'm watching it now.
And I'm like, what?
floating in the wind.
Whoa, pick up your helmet, first of all. Don't awkwardly go like a hard 90 without your helmet and then chirp. It was weird. This whole thing's been weird. As far as hit batters go, I mean, like, I think Ottavino like spiked a slider and hit somebody in the feet. It like bounced first and hit somebody in the legs. And then like Scherzer's from the dugout, like, shut your mouth, stop talking. And then
that is a man that would put somebody in the hospital.
No, that man, like, no, I am not at all interested in chirping Max Scherzer ever. And then the JD Davis one, where it's a 3-2 fastball, and it's just like he yanked it, right? And it just pulled it and it hit his foot, and like, yeah, I'd be pissed too if I was a Met, but at the same time, like, you have to understand where the intent is. There's no intent on an Ottavino slider that's just sweeping across and bounces first, and there's no intent on yanking a 3-2 fastball into somebody's foot.
I don't even remember it being a fastball, but maybe it was.
I think it was.
Yeah, but then you got Ron Darling up in the Mets booth being like, you don't miss a 3-2 pitch that bad, like implying that there was intent there. Ron Darling, the count is 3-2. Do you really think there's any intent on a ball?
What's the point of going to that count if you do have intent on hitting him? What's the point of throwing those 5 pitches to get there? Doesn't make sense. So it is a little bit of like, I think the Mets are getting a little grumpy. You said coming into that game, they were hit 18 different times throughout the year. It's not like it's been like...
Oh, yeah, it was 96 to the foot.
Yeah, which I'm not saying would feel good at all. No, I would definitely leave the game too. But the Mets taking exception to getting hit, 18 times, fine. It's not like the next closest team is at like 5. The rest of the league is in the teens too, for the most part. You have like 10 other teams in the teens. Guys are getting hit. And it brings it to the Bassit comments about the baseballs. I think that is valid. I think, and I think it is valid for sure. I think the balls are, go ahead and get into that. I think the balls are an issue.
So they asked Chris Bassit his thoughts on the baseballs. He says, Major League Baseball has a very big problem with the baseballs. They are bad. Everyone knows it. Every pitcher in the league knows it. He says every pitcher in the league knows it. MLB doesn't give a damn about it. They don't care. We have told them our problems with them. They don't care. There's no common ground with the balls. There's nothing the same outing to outing.
And MLB again has admitted to this in past years. They've admitted to changing balls. They've admitted that certain games have different balls. They now have a humidor in every ballpark. They've removed, obviously, they've cracked down on the sticky substance stuff, but they haven't given a solution. And that's what I thought was coming this year, was like, all right, well, let's get that a part of the agreement where the league and players can come together and find something for pitchers to use. If they need something for grip, we got to find it. Something legal that both sides can agree on. And it's the same conversation. We're just hearing it on the pitcher side, right? Last year we heard hitters saying, I've seen a lot of pitches thrown at me in my life. I'm seeing pitches that I've never seen before, from spin and from action on the ball. Stuff was happening last year that hitters have never seen. Stuff is allowed to happen this year, and pitchers to have the same kind of argument, right? And for those saying, I saw some comments, I won't call anybody out, but I saw some comments that were like, a craftsman never blames his tool.
No, let's get into this.
Right.
We're going to name names here. Friend of the pod, Miles Michaelis. Love the guy. He's a character. It was a great interview. Had a great time talking with him. But he comes out and says, it's not the ball's fault, in response to what Chris Bassit said. It's not the ball's fault. Take some responsibility for your actions. And he was saying that because he doesn't feel as though he's had that same experience with the baseballs this year, which I think only further speaks to the point that we're not all playing with the same baseballs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
Bassit's not going to be the only guy that's saying that.
Like I feel like it's pretty clear.
And on the other side of things, people saying don't blame, a craftsman doesn't blame his tool. Bassett's looking for excuses. He's lighting it up this year. So he doesn't need an excuse. Bassett is carving people up despite what's happening, or in spite of what's happening with the baseballs.
To be fair, Miles is
doing well too.
Start of the year
I agree.
Too, just for the record.
I'm just saying that we can't, as a fan, immediately say, Bassett, you're wrong. You have no idea what you're talking about. When the league has come out and admitted different balls throughout different games, throughout different years, and that they're constantly changing, they're constantly doing stuff. We talked about it last week. You have hitters that are pimping balls that are getting caught at the track. These hitters know when they get a hold of a baseball, they know what it's supposed to do. They know what it's supposed to do. So the fact that they're pimping baseballs and it's getting caught at the track, it's not about the flashiness. It's about that ball didn't go as far as it should have gone. You supported it last week with the argument that the offensive numbers are down. The baseballs are different. The baseballs are fluctuating. The baseballs are changing. Bassett saying that, I think, is relevant. I think it is true. But at the same time, as a Met, how can you argue for both things? If you're Chris Bassett, you can't say the balls are changing, so pitchers are going to be wild, but also be upset that the Mets are getting hit a lot. That's those opposing sides of the argument there.
No, it's a fair point. And it's interesting that Miles Michaelis is viewing this as he's coming at Chris Bassett saying, like, take some responsibility. Mm-hmm. Where I think Chris Bassett is taking this he's continuing the theme of the offseason with the lockout of this kind of players or on-field product, if you will, versus the league stance. Mm-hmm. But I think Miles is interpreting this dynamic as a Mets versus Cardinals thing, which is interesting. You got a lot of different dynamics working here.
Yeah. It's a lot going on, but I do think the balls are different, and something has to be done on the league. The players need to come together and find, obviously rosin isn't cutting it, and that's been, how long has that been around? You know what I mean? Like, how long has the rosin bag been around on the back of a mound? It's been forever.
This was the first year, right, that they made it consistent across the entire league, so everyone's using the same rosin bag?
The umpires are in control of the rosin bag. That's what it is. So the umpires are bringing, it's no longer based on the stadium or the grounds crew, if you will, right? Like the stadium isn't providing. That's, yeah.
So consistent rosin bag usage across the league.
Yeah, and it's either the rock or the powder. Then it's, like you said, consistent across the way. But either way, that's not sufficient enough, right? And how many times has pine tar been changed or updated or innovated throughout the years? I mean, when you and I were kids, it was like the little Rawlings squirt bottle and you put it on the pad, right? And then you rub it on, halfway up the handle. Now it's turned into spray, right? When we were playing in high school, it was like a tiger stick. So it's actually like a candlestick that you were using. So it has changed.
Use of the rosin bag goes back to 1887. Did you know that the rosin bag was banned from 1919 to 1937? I'm going to need a little backstory as to why that interesting. Happened.
Either way, I feel like there's something that's got to happen. There's some assistance that we have to give pitchers to be able to find a substance that is not altering the flight of the baseball, but also gives a little bit of an advantage to the grip. And the whole, I saw Angel Hernandez call a balk the other day because someone licked their hand seconds before stepping off of the rubber, and it was a balk. And it's just like, what do you want these guys to do? It's still freezing cold in a lot of these places.
Yeah.
Like, rosin is only going to work if he's sweating. So for these cold weather games, it's like, what? They have nothing. And if you introduce different baseballs each time, the guy doesn't know how that baseball is going to react. And again, we had this conversation last year. People can argue about all they want all they want about, yes, lower levels use different baseballs and it alters, right? These guys actually have analytics. Everything is tracked. And when you go back and you get your report card of after your start and you're reading through the analytics and you see your spin rates are this when they're typically this, right? These guys have everything down to an absolute science. You're not doing that in junior college baseball. You're not doing that in Division II baseball. You're not doing that in high school. So stop. Stop comparing yourself to Major League Baseball players. 1. 2, why do we have to say he's right or wrong? Why can't we just open up that conversation? Why can't you just look at the clues and say, if MLB's admitted this in the past, why do you think anything would be different this year? I don't know. Maybe there is some type of conspiracy. I told you last week, I think a factor of the offensive numbers being down is the shift, right? So maybe if MLB brings in these dead balls or different balls, that we can start to blame the narrative of the shift. And then when the shift is gone next year, we could say, oh, well, look at the uptick in offensive production. It was only because of the shift, right? Maybe that's a conspiracy. I don't know. But what I can say is Chris Bassit knows a baseball better than anyone else in our comment section. Probably combined.
Well, speaking of our comment section, to your point of why do we have to say he's right or wrong, I did have an interesting interaction yesterday with somebody in the comments. Give him a little love because, it was a little contentious there at first, but it panned out. Andy_loose1 says, everyone's always going to complain. This was in response to the Chris Bassit quote graphic I put up. Mm-hmm. He says, everyone's always going to complain. They complained when the balls were juiced. Now they're complaining when they're dead. And I just said, here's an idea. How about regular baseballs? And then he said, I guarantee you people are going to complain if they do that too. Fans of this sport just love to complain about anything and everything they can. And I said, that I will give you. So to answer your question of why do we have to say he's right or wrong, people just love
that's cool.
bringing their opinions and experience into it, as irrelevant as it may be.
Yeah, I'm not saying we can't argue, but I think to try and talk down on Chris Bassit in any way or any other pitcher that comes out and says this type of stuff, it's not fair. We're a fan. You getting a baseball scuffed up from being fouled into the third deck and it coming down to the first row, hitting concrete, and so that you're not going to have an idea of what those baseballs are like over and over and over. These pitchers are grabbing a different baseball over and over. These baseballs are replaced over and over.
And they know that. And it comes back to the point that you made where it's like, he's tearing it up. He has no reason to share an excuse. He's simply making an observation that people have been, when we talked to Ross Stripling, however many years ago, he said the baseballs are juiced. We asked him point blank. He said the balls are juiced.
Yeah, they got never thrown with this before.
And the conversations continued, but nothing's really changed except the baseballs. And yet we're still talking about it. And people are still trying to say that guys like Chris Bassit are using this as an excuse. Yeah. It's just an observation because these guys, like you said, they handle these baseballs more than anybody in our comment section. Yep. They know the difference, even in millimeters, when something's off, because they know that their pitches aren't working the same or it's not coming out of the hand the same. So for them to just simply acknowledge, hey, you know what, these are a little different. You got people in the comment warriors, oh, he's just making excuses.
Stop. No. You have no idea. You don't know. You don't know.
It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I don't get it. But I as far as the beef goes, don't mess with Nolan Arenado ever. I don't recommend that.
I tell you what, though, waking up Wednesday, I did not have people labeling Nolan Arenado on my bingo card. Like labeling him as a softie.
What do you mean?
Like, I just didn't. When I woke up Wednesday, I just didn't think.
People are saying that?
Yes, people are saying he's soft as Charmin because of the way he responded. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't have Nolan Arenado being labeled as a softie on my bingo card when I woke up Wednesday because.
Cue that video a few years ago when he's literally chasing a pitcher down with a bloody eye ready to throw hands. The bro has like, his hair is flowing back like a lion, and he's chasing somebody down ready to fight. That guy is intense.
That is a pretty majestic mane, if I do say so.
I know. That's he's got that lettuce for sure.
Got the lettuce.
You know what I'm talking about. You remember that video when he gets hit and he's bloody and he's literally like swinging and chasing, and the pitcher's just running away until the rest of the teammates get there. Nolan ain't soft, dude. No shot. I'm not buying into that narrative at all. At all. And again, if you go and watch back before this brawl, before this benches clearing dance happened, Nolan said, let's go. Give me that fastball again and put it in the zone, and I'm going to put it 15 rows up. Just watch. Go back and watch the video. You could see it. And then the catcher is like, whoa, no, hold on now. We don't need to do any of this. Move. And he gets tossed.
And they said, you're out of here.
Like a child. Nolan is the guy. Don't talk about Nolan. I would not fight that dude ever. That guy's intense. No shot he's soft. Sorry, not buying into that.
Nolan turned into an umpire when he just tossed the catcher's side. What did he say, Nate?
You're gone. Get out of my way.
Like a rag doll.
Just like a little boy. Little boy. Get out of here.
Like a little man boy.
No, I was a fan. I was a fan of all of it. But if you're the Mets, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. This is a good narrative for the Mets to have. Us against the world. Everybody hate us. And
it took Max Scherzer getting to the clubhouse for this to become a real legitimate
I agree.
threat,
And Buck.
because they don't have anybody. And Buck. Because before that, you don't have anybody to hide behind.
I agree.
You don't.
I agree.
Pete Alonso, Tampa, Florida. No.
Yeah, I agree. I think Buck and Max have changed that culture. This is what I was trying to tell you before. And Buck's comments after all this were like, just money. Just money. They asked him about, a Cardinals reaction, and he's like, I'll let them handle their players. I know my guy got hit in the head, and he went to first base.
Yeah, now what was the other thing?
He Bill Belichicked him, bro. He just straight up said, I don't care what other teams are doing. I support my guys, and this is who I am. And this is exactly what the Mets need. This is why the New York Mets in 2022 are different from any Mets team you've seen before. This is an edge. This is a confidence. And this is a swagger. And by the way, they're doing this without DeGrom. So look out.
His response, I was trying to find it. His response cracked me up. It was after he said that I know our player got hit and went first, blah, blah, blah. But then he said, there's a lot of emotion flying around. Stop. Think this through. There's a lot of ways to show your toughness other than reciprocating and hitting somebody else in the head. Then all of a sudden, somebody's career is over and somebody's laying there with blood coming out of their ears. How do you really feel? Was it worth it? No. It was kind of stupid, but there's a lot of frustration. That part where he's like, stop. Think it through. That really got to me. That was good.
Buck's the guy, dude. Buck is the guy. I'm honestly pulling for the Mets for Buck. Like I feel like he's finally in a position to where he's getting what he's earned. And this is a roster that he's earned. He's gone through some real rough teams to get this privilege of getting here. And I'm excited for that. Also,
this just goes to show you that people's hate for Tony La Russa was just because they wanted something to hate. It's not the old guy thing. Look at what Buck's doing. Buck's been around the block.
Yeah.
You don't really hear much hate for Buck right now.
Yeah.
So, don't know what the Tony hate's all about. Nate, we're going to talk about this Yankee letter. But first, before we do that, you're going to tell me why our friends over Big League Chew are so great.
I won't. Should I go quick again? I'll just run it regular.
Oh, which, by the way, good.
Who won that?
Good
Did
reminder.
You win? Did I win?
The general consensus is that you had the more efficient, better ad read. Because although I had you in speed, I had the errors against me.
Hey, efficiency is important.
And, yeah, people said I'd rather have the efficiency than the speed. So hats off to you. You won that one this time, my friend. But maybe we'll do it again down the road.
We will do it. I won't do it every time. I feel bad for Big League Chew if I'm just like flying through the
I would
ad
almost
read,
argue
so.
that brought more attention to the ad read by us having a little
That's a
competition.
good point. That is a good point. And my my weird little conversation when you were gone. Big League Chew, founded by former left-handed pitcher Rob Nelson. Big League Chew started from humble beginnings in the Portland Mavericks bullpen in 1977. For more than 40 years, the iconic pouches packed with shredded, flavorful bubble gum has become the #1 shredded gum of athletes everywhere. Big League Chew has sold more than 900 million pouches and is designated as the Hall of Fame bubble gum. Grab some gum and head to Big League Chew's social media channels at Big League Chew on Twitter and at Big League Chew on Instagram to show off your Big League bubbles. Also, ad-libbing here. They're really good about reposting stuff. So if you ever really do put it on your story, they're really responsive. They're a lot of fun. Give them some love for sure. But you can also find a list of their retailers or purchase any of their products directly from their website at bigleaguechew.com. Big League Chew.
Yeah, go get that pouch, post a story, and tag them, and you'll be on their story.
Guaranteed.
For my
Every
name's
time.
not Orville Redenbacher. No, but they'll post it.
Yeah.
They will post it. All right, let's talk about this Yankee letter. All in all, kind of disappointing.
I know. The rest of the league is salty. They're pissed.
Yeah, the rest of the league is in shambles right
Yeah.
now. I'm not, because I didn't really know what to expect either way. I was just like, okay, I'm curious. I'm
didn't
intrigued,
either. I didn't either.
It's like, we've already gone through this with the Astros. I don't want to have to go through this again. Even though it was the Yankees, I was just like, I just don't care. Like, we already know that there was some shady business going on.
We've moved on. We've moved on from that.
Obviously, if there's something else that happens that's equally or more drastic than what the Astros did, okay, then that warrants another conversation. But I mean, sure, all cheating deserves the time of day, but to the extent that we ran the Astros thing into the ground, I don't think so. But the thing that really got me intrigued from the get-go was when they said that the letter's release could, quote, cause significant and irreparable reputational harm. And so I'm thinking,
I was thinking along the same lines. It had to be pretty bad
really bad. If the Yankees are coming out and saying this, knowing what's already happened with the Astros, and then we find out that it's basically just a dud. Well,
I don't know.
To many. Jeff Passan tweeted, "The infamous Yankees letter is pretty much a nothing burger. Says the Yankees used their replay room to decode catcher signs and relay them to runners on second, which multiple teams were doing. Does not find that they were illicitly using center field camera. The upshot, the Yankees, and in parentheses, and Red Sox were illegally using the replay room to steal signs, but neither scheme was anything close to what the Astros were doing with trash cans. Other teams were very likely doing similar things to New York and Boston. That element spanned the game."
There you go. I mean, that's honestly, it's the best thing that could be said about it. It's the only thing that really just kind of breaks it down. It wasn't illegal. It was the phone usage. It wasn't illegal relaying those messages to the. You know what I'm saying? Like if a guy in the dugout has signs picked out or he's seeing something, he can relay that to the guy in second base to then relay it to the hitter. That isn't illegal. It was the fact that they were actually using the phone and the replay room to be able to do that stuff. That part was just like what the Red Sox did, right? Which made me wonder, if it is the same thing, why did Cora get fired? Was it just the Astros involvement for Cora? It wasn't anything Red Sox wise?
No, like he served his time as a result of the Astros suspension.
The Astros stuff. Okay, Astros so it had nothing to do with the Red Sox stuff. Okay. All right. So there were no repercussions on the Red Sox side except for maybe that replay room guy getting fired, right? I think.
Yeah, and there may have been a fine. I can't remember.
Oh, was there a draft pick thing? I think it was a fine and like a draft pick.
Yeah. That's what it was. Yep, the draft pick too.
Yeah,
but I mean, nothing crazy. And my understanding of this, correct me if I'm wrong here, my understanding of this is if they were trying to do the same thing that the Astros did, but do it in a way that didn't involve trash cans, you would still need a method of communication to relay this to the hitter, because this is all happening in real time.
Yeah, it's happening quick.
So it's like if you're not using trash cans, you have to have some sort of signaling communication. And if you don't have that, then it's more so you're just using it for, I don't know, future ABs, get better reads on pitchers, sequencing, this and that.
I don't think it's something that directly affects like the live moment. I think it, like you said, it's more of like the next AB, hey, keep your eye out for this. If we do have a guy on second, I'll help you. It's just this further solidifies how bad the Astros stuff was. So all the people that said, hey, when we were cracking down on the Astros and everyone had the Astros hate, everyone's like, whoa, everyone was doing it. Every team had that going on. No, sorry. No one was getting to that level. Sorry. No one was doing that to what the Astros were doing. This letter proves that what the Astros were doing was way over the top. Way, 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 way worse. So that narrative will never die. I will never allow anybody to try to talk me into that, especially after this letter being released. So, is what it is.
I'm just still trying to figure out where the significant and irreparable reputational harm comes into play. I don't see who's really affected by this.
I don't either, but I think, you don't necessarily know how it's going to be received by the public. The Red Sox stuff wasn't received nearly as lightly as this because of the timing, right? The Red Sox scandal was closer to the Astros scandal, so people got upset about it. Whereas there's been enough time for this to happen to where the Yankees, kind of get let off. And also they don't have a trophy in their trophy case from using these tactics. So I think it hits a little different, it hits a little different. And the truth is that the rules have cracked down and things have changed. And this is the same as sticky stuff in my mind, It's the same as sticky stuff.
Which, by the way, have you seen the crackdowns on sticky stuff recently? The umpire checks?
It's real light, dude. They're just like, glove. Go ahead.
The one I saw the other day, rubs one side of the hand, flips it over, rubs the other side, done.
Yeah.
It's like that video of that security guard when he, like the old guy, he just like throws his hands up on the side, runs them down the arms, and lets the person go through. What are we doing?
Yeah. This is I don't know. But nothing to really even kind of talk about in my mind. It's just...
You know what is something to talk about, Nate? SeatGeek. It's the answer to all your ticket needs. You're looking for tickets? You have plans with friends or family to make it to an upcoming game or concert, or are even looking months ahead to nail down a date to get tickets before they sell out? With SeatGeek, you can find tickets to games, concert shows, and even theater performances with just a few easy clicks. So we're making it even better for you if you're a first-time user of SeatGeek. Next time you add some tickets to your cart, use our promo code TAKE POD at checkout to save $20 instantly off your first purchase as a first-time user. It's all you got to do to save some of that
cold hard cash.
Enter promo code TAKE POD at checkout. And again, if you are confused on the code, it is our social handle, SeatGeek. Look at that. I really used the criticism and feedback from my last ad read to fuel me through that one. That was seamless.
Hey, man. We need that sometimes. We need that fuel sometimes. I get it.
Anything else on the letter scandal, whatever you want to call it?
No, I mean that's coming from a Yankees fan. So how did you receive it? Pretty much the same way, right?
Like I told you, it just didn't move the needle for me.
Yeah,
if at all.
Yeah, just like I feel like this is just the last thing of this era of sign stealing, cheating stuff, and just I think we can officially move on from it.
Well, I feel like I do need to clarify because I'm sure there's people listening going, oh, look at this. The Red Sox and Yankee fans just trying to brush this under the rug. That's not it. Like I said, you look at what happened. punishments were paid, and then you look at the bigger picture, and we just read off, Jeff Passan himself said it wasn't anything near what the Astros were doing. That's why the Astros get so much hate. Sure, you could call them a scapegoat if you want, because this was one of the first instances of hearing about something as crazy and whatever you want to call it as that. But what the Red Sox and Yankees did wasn't anywhere close. So, of course, we're not going to respond as up in arms about something like that as we did when the Astros thing went down, because that was setting the bar. And then everything else since then is kind of fallen by the wayside. So
yeah, exactly. And I do think that there's a known there's enough known for people on the inside, right? Like Spader last year on Twitter, right? Like he put out like a 4 or 5 tweet message about similar stuff happening across the league, right? And other teams are doing stuff as well. And then it got deleted. He apologized for it. Passan including in this tweet that multiple other teams outside of Yankees and Red Sox and Astros were doing this as well. So I think there's just like a known, for people on the inside, they know more than we do as fans. And this is either being, I won't say brushed under the rug, but it has been kind of backburnered, because I just don't think anything was as bad as the Astros. I really don't. I don't think anything was nearly that bad. And like, what's the point of talking about this anymore? The rules happened, the crackdown happened, and now we just kind of move on.
From my perspective with the Red Sox, I feel like I've expressed this and shared this viewpoint like in depth. But you can sit there and say what you want about Alex Cora. In my opinion, the worst thing you could have done to the Red Sox in terms of punishment is remove him from that clubhouse for an entire year.
It happened.
Because you see,
that was bad.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You see the impact that he has. He gets back for the game off the COVID list, or having COVID, whatever the technical lingo is there. And they win the ball game last night in convincing fashion. But meanwhile, while he's gone, I mean, that was a scuffle. We
watched it the whole year when he was gone too. When
and a much
more,
a much more macro level. That was ugly. And so, like, if you want to stick it to the Sox, like I said, if people are listening and saying, "Oh, they're just trying to brush it under the rug," if you want to stick it to me, or you want to stick it to the Sox, get rid of Cora. Because that's literally the worst thing you can do for that.
You wasted an entire year, basically, by getting rid of him.
An entire year. Yeah. Because he has, in my opinion, the most value of anyone in that organization.
I would agree. I think
the impact he has on the players, the staff, whatever else you want to attribute it to.
I agree.
And they paid the price. So there you have it.
Yeah, I think it's just time to kind of move on from this and understand that the worst we're going to see is come to light. Anything else that has happened or was happening, if it does come into the light, I feel like it's going to be on this scale where it's like, well, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I won't put it past Major League Baseball to let something like the Astros thing go under the radar, but it's definitely possible. But if they do and they don't nip it right away, you might as well just put the final nail in the coffin of baseball. Because if something equal or worse happens in relation to what the Astros did, and we find out later that Major League Baseball was just toying around with it, not really sure what to do, and Manfred was the lead role in that.
I also think it's too soon to feel the ripple effect quite yet, right? We didn't feel the ripple effect of the steroid era in the early to mid 2000s, right? Like, we didn't feel it right after it was done.
Right.
We're feeling it now for the guys that retired and have the conversation of trying to get into the Hall. That is, I think, where we're really going to feel the Astro scandal, is when the Correas, the Altuves, and the Bregmans are having an argument to try and get into the Hall. And it's going to be used against them. And that is when we'll truly feel the effects of this era, if you will.
Speaking of mammoth home runs, Stantonian blast, if you will.
There you go.
Giancarlo Stanton notched his 350th. Seventh fastest player to do it. You wanted me to look up the names. I got the names.
I felt like I heard it on the broadcast, but I didn't remember what the names were.
So Mark McGwire was the fastest to reach 350 in terms of game played, doing so in his 1,280th game on June 2nd, 1997. The others to reach 350 home runs faster than Stanton were Juan Gonzalez, who did it in 1298,
Really?
Alex Rodriguez in 1301, Harmon Killebrew in 1319. These are games played, not the year. Harmon Killebrew was not swinging it in 1319. Albert Pujols, 1320, and Babe Ruth, 1329. So how many games has this been for Stanton? I didn't even get his number. I got the other numbers.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that either. Let me see. I think I still have that article pulled up. Beep, beep, 1280. Yep, 1280. No, that's Mark McGwire. I was reading the wrong name.
1341.
1341. There you go. Yeah, just like it's I think we just kind of forget like how monumental he's been as far as the power hitter category goes. Like and it's just because it's like it's mirrored with a really bad look at the plate sometimes, where it's just like, oh, you look like you've never even swung a bat. And then, he'll go on this hot streak of hitting nukes. So, but when you look up like the hardest balls ever hit, he's majority of the list. That's who he is, and this is the hitter he is. And I think he would probably get a little bit more love for this if he wasn't a Yankee. If he was still a Marlin, I think it would be a bigger deal. But this is, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool to see a guy like this that sometimes gets overlooked for his power.
I'm reading here on Baseball Reference, which is notorious for having just terrible source information on nicknames, but they have him listed here as Bigfoot. I've never heard Giancarlo Stanton named Bigfoot ever.
Not once. Not ever.
Like, who are they
Not
reaching
ever.
out to, like, Little League coaches and being like, hey, what was G nicknamed back when he was 12?
Who knows?
Bigfoot.
Yeah, I don't know. But he was, I think his first big league home run was still in that old Marlins ballpark. The old one. So he's been around a minute, and it's cool. It's cool to see. But
Yeah,
he gets
that's when they were wearing the old threads, the teal and black.
Yeah. But I mean, I know he gets a lot of hate for the way he looks sometimes and how often he strikes out and things like that. But the guy is going to go down as one of the best power hitters to ever play, for sure.
It's wild. I'm just looking for an old picture. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, man, rocking the black and teal.
Yeah.
Threads,
That was
man.
back when he was Mike Stanton.
Yep. Mike Stanton slams first MLB home run.
Yeah.
Weird. All right, well, that about does it for me, unless you got anything else.
No, not really.
Closing the book here, just wanted to give a little love to Eric Hosmer, who, I don't know, for the last, 18 months has been rumored to be on his way out in San Diego.
Poor
Fans have just been begging for the end of the Hosmer era in San Diego. And he's leading all of baseball with a clip of 410.
I love that.
410. And yeah, I know it's early, but we're not talking like April 10th early. Like,
Yeah.
he's had a solid month.
Yeah, like if you're playing high school baseball or college baseball and you're hitting over 400, this is about the amount of games you'd be getting in, right? 20-ish,
Yeah.
25 games. That's about all you're getting in high school. So if you're hitting over 400, you're going to talk about it. He's doing this on the biggest level after all of the hate and all of the scrutiny, and it's like, lay off.
And
My
all
guy
the people,
knows.
all the people invested in his wedding and how much he was spending on his wedding, and
Oh, I didn't read that.
that
Really?
that was bizarre. People were so concerned with the grand scale of his wedding, like, and just how, I don't want to say obnoxious, but just how kind of like over the top people thought it was. And it was like a cult movement where people were just following every update surrounding it. I'm like, that's weird.
Leave my guy alone.
Just let the man get married. What are we doing?
Leave my guy alone. Good for Hazy. Keep going out there and proving people wrong, and keep just locking down your spot. And if the Padres don't appreciate you, there's going to be an organization that will. Go back to the Royals. Honestly, once Carlos Santana kind of calls it, I'm assuming he's close, and the Royals start getting on the up and up again, send him back there. Let him go home. Let him do his thing. And yeah, he just gets unnecessary hate. I don't get it.
Speaking of unnecessary hate, the last thing I got here, just wanted to bring it to your attention that last episode when you were calling me out for Matt Vasgersian's call, he was remote because it was a road game. So that leaves John Sterling on an island by himself.
How do you know he didn't go there?
Alone. What?
How do you know he didn't go there?
Because I looked it up. He wasn't there. So
How do you know?
I looked it up. It was confirmed he wasn't there.
You know when they aren't there? You can look that up of like, you know that? Because like I'm just saying, because broadcasters are traveling again. They're going to opposing.
Right, but not all of them. Type in a Twitter, Google search it, just say Matt Vasgersian foul ball, and you'll come across the evidence that shows that he wasn't there.
I gotcha.
So all that to say,
yeah, John Sterling, he's the worst ever.
On an island by himself in terms of Stantonian blast
just
calls.
Terrible.
Okay, I didn't take it to that level.
Terrible.
That's all I got, Nate.
Just ending it with unnecessary hate. I thought we were this close.
No,
we had the Yankees letter. We had the 350 for G Stanton, and we were this close to getting through this whole episode without any shame throwing.
No, I had to just defend my honor. You know, like you coming after me saying, "Oh, he was there."
Either way, you could watch it on TV and see that it wasn't a freaking foul ball.
No, you can't. We're not gonna get into this.
You watch that highlight and you tell me that you immediately thought that was a foul ball. Get out of here.
We're not here to talk about what I thought. It's about what Matty V thought. That's all I got.
Ridiculous. Don't go chasing curveballs.
We love y'all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.